all mission is contextual, and all mission is God's mission. These two statements are the pillars for everyone seeking to live into the Missio Dei, or God's mission, in the world. Everything that we do as ministers, missionaries, or lay people is in conjunction with God's Spirit in the world. All success stories are God's success stories. One definition of mission is this: seeing where God's Spirit is moving and joining in. As Samuel Escobar writes in his book, A Time for Mission, quote, "Moreover, in the midst of their busyness, and frequently without intending it, missionaries and mission leaders themselves tend to forget that mission is God's mission, and not just a great human enterprise." End quote. God moves in this world, and we as Christ followers have both the opportunity and the privilege to join in with that work, whether or not we see it. As Susan Morrow so pointedly notes, quote, "A primary assumption I bring to the writing of this book," that is, Calling in Context, "is that God is dynamically engaged in the universe God created, constantly forming, shaping, healing, and transforming lives, yours and the lives of the people around you. Simply put, the Spirit is always fundamentally present and active." End quote. The difficulty in mission, therefore, lies in sensing where God's Spirit is moving within our own specific context, globally, culturally, ethnically, linguistically, and within our own neighborhood. Literary and theological titan C.S. Lewis regards missions in this way, quote, "It is one of the evils of rapid diffusion of news that the sorrows of all the world come to us every morning. I think each village was meant to feel pity for its own sick and poor, whom it can help, and I doubt if it is the duty of any private person to fix his mind on ills which he cannot help. This may even become an escape from the works of charity we really can do to those we know." End quote. As he so pointedly demonstrates, Christians are called to care for their own neighbors. This echoes the command of Christ in Matthew chapter 22, when he says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind." This is the great and first commandment. And a second is like it: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets. In the remainder of this podcast, therefore, we will be looking at the question of who is my neighbor. I currently reside in Rochester, New York, and the question we will examine is this: what does loving our neighbor look like? Or how do we join with God's Spirit in mission in Rochester?